This is the President McCormack Podcast with your host, Mark McCormack.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the podcast today, Xavier Jackson, but he goes by X. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Welcome on the podcast, my friend.
Man, appreciate you for having me.
I've actually been wanting to put you on here for a while. So, because your social media is fun, you're fun, we cross paths all the time.
I know, right? It was just like one period of time prior to me really getting to know you. Obviously, I credit it probably to Brett because, you know, y'all obviously in that close-knit community, but you always was interesting to me too, especially after I figured out about you building the course and we came and got to like know a little bit more. I was like, for somebody who do this, especially out here in Utah, and to be so low key, like,
yeah,
because usually people like let that be known.
Yeah, it's funny, dude. People. So I do an MBA course for people that don't know that. You know, we're the finishers for it. We're currently buying a mill, so we can kind of be A to Z for everything. And people, when people find that out about me, and I throw it on my social every now and again, right? But not like every day. And they're always like, dude, you do this? Like, how do you do this? Do you meet any players? And I'm like, nah, bro, listen. Like, this is very corporate, right?
Yeah, like, you really don't care about that.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, and I've met a few over the years. It's kind of a funny thing. I can call almost any NBA team and get tickets, right? Doesn't mean I'm going to be front row all the time. You know, if it's a big game, those things cost a lot of money. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just funny, man. We're both not weirdly, but we're both very connected to like the NBA and different sides of the coin.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, and you know a bunch of NBA players are your buddies, right?
Yeah. Obviously, Maurice O'Neal, I grew up with him, and then he kind of was like the kind joint to the bigger people. But obviously, like growing up, being in the community of basketball is still small. Like no matter wherever you at, especially if you get to continue to go up levels. And I was fortunate to like go to a Division I school and play. So during that time, some of my peers made it to the next level, and obviously, like I said, when Royce made it to the league and I was able to, get around more and network more, network grew.
So which college did you go to?
Virginia Commonwealth University.
Oh, nice. Yeah, VCU, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So did Royce play with you there?
No. So he's actually 4 years older than me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so like he was already in the NBA when I was there.
Oh, nice.
Actually, what's crazy is I'll say that like he's always been like a shadow to my future. So when I first moved to Texas when I was in high school, I was a freshman, he was a senior. I didn't know nobody in Texas. And when I got there, in 8th grade, I was playing varsity in Georgia at a private school, and we won state championship. So I came into Texas like with this ego, like, and this pride, like, I don't care, like, I already won. I'm a champion.
Yeah.
And when I got out there, I went from varsity, 8th grade, on state championship to they had put me on a freshman team.
Yeah.
And that lasted for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they actually moved me up. And when they moved me up, Royce was like considered the, person that was like head of the school about to go D1. And
yeah.
There's like this new freshman, Royce gonna come in, and when you leave, he gonna take over. So from there, we like kind of like grew a bond. And it was like when he got to Division I Baylor, and I was still he had me come up there sometimes and train and like see what that was like. And then when I got to that level, the same time I went to the Division I was the same time he got signed to the NBA. So both our dreams came true. Like in the short, I still wanted to get to that next level, but we was there though. Yeah. And then it's always been like that. He get to the NBA, and then when I would tell him I was about to get into business, and then he seen what I was doing, then introduced me to that world. So yeah. He always been like that foreshadow for me.
Oh, that's cool, man. So he sounds like a really cool guy, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Definitely a cool guy.
I mean, here being a Utah Jazz fan, we love him. Right, he's one of our best players, and he started pretty soon when he got to the NBA, didn't he?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it was a long journey. Like he didn't get drafted, then go overseas to Spain 1 year, and then to Germany, and then like go summer league. And like the thing about it is, none of his years he averaged like crazy numbers. Like when he was overseas, not like he had like 30 points a game. It was like 8 or 7, and then when summer league it was like 4 points a game, but he got that call for a 3-year contract because of role, and they knew that he would come in and he would play the role. And then that's kind of like when I had the moment within myself to realize, like, damn, if I would have looked at it like that, like, because obviously when you get to that high level, there's only like 10 players that's going to actually take all the shots. And most of them guys are God-gifted. So everybody else in the NBA is a role player, but you live in your dream, playing and doing what you want to do. but it's just like you just playing a role. And at first, you know, from the outside looking in, when he got in the league, everybody used to be like, man, shoot the ball more, shoot the ball more, shoot the ball more. But it's like, he ain't getting paid $100 million to do that. He's getting paid to basically play his role. And when I got around him and I understood that more, those same principles, I said, damn, I should apply that in my life. Because, like, for me, I know why, like, when I got to college, that was kind of the biggest thing. Like, that pride and ego still never left me, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I was not trying to play no role. I was like, bro, I'm the man. I was always the man in my life. So now I'm going to be the man here. Like, what's changing? Like, and that was not, like, what my coach had in mind. So instead of me understanding that, like, I could perfect a role and this was going to translate me to the next level, I was just trying to, like, be defiant and go against the code. And it was like, nah, this going to go my way. And it obviously didn't, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was, like, one of the lessons that I took from that and learned and applied it to what I do now.
Yeah. So how long were you at VCU?
Only 2 years. I went to, like, 2 junior colleges. I went to New Mexico Junior College, and I went to Sheridan in Wyoming. And then after that, I bounced to VCU.
Okay, cool. Did you graduate?
Yep, graduated.
Nice. What degree?
It's so funny. I think it was like sociology.
Yeah.
But like because I was bouncing school so many times, and then when I got to like the actual school, honestly, I was there to play ball.
Yeah.
But obviously, I still did my work. That's why I got the degree. But people ask me all the time. I'd be like, man, I honestly forgot what that was. I send it straight to my mom and dad. I probably never seen that degree to this day.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm kind of a I don't want to say anti-college guy, right? But the ROI for most people, I mean, obviously, if you go play ball, freaking ball up, right? But like for the average person, it's like, man, it doesn't even matter what degree you get anymore. Unless you're gonna go into like engineering or like
like a surgeon or something.
Yeah, but the rest of us, I mean, sociology. I have a paralegal studies degree. Someone have a business marketing degree. It just matters about grind.
Exactly.
Yeah. So did you try out for any NBA teams?
No, I never actually got to that point. It was crazy because like that last year when I was at VCU, I was kind of like. It was the first time in my life where I was stuck, like I was like, I always seen my future and what I was doing, and I always knew I had something to look forward to or another opportunity to look forward to. But this was the first time I didn't really see no more opportunities, like when it came down to basketball. And that kind of put me into like a depressed like state to where I was just like went numb for like some time. Yeah. And then when I went back home, this is why you should never, even like when you in the midst of the storm and you can't see, never stop. Because when I went back home, my trainer and coach that, always trained me my whole life, he was working the draft camp and he told me to come. And it was like 26 NBA teams and like some of the top draft prospects. But I was in training for the past 2 to 3 months because I was depressed thinking that I was never going to get an opportunity. And then the opportunity came. So that was like another like life lesson that I noticed. That I was like, man, like, who would, not to say that would have been, but that was a good opportunity. Like, usually you have a good career to be in that opportunity, and I could have easily, got in there. So, always stay prepared. That's what I tell.
Because the NBA is a good opportunity, actually, even if you don't get drafted, as long as you prove yourself, and, you can go to Europe, you can play in the G League.
Yeah, that's I wasn't thinking like that. Like, it could have failed anyway. I could have failed anyway. G League, opportunity, another tryout overseas, making millions, like, however that played out. But yeah.
So tell me this. So when, because the NBA was a dream your whole life, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
So when you actually realize it's like, I'm not going to end up playing in the NBA, like, kind of tell us about that moment, like in your own head.
Yeah. So it was like, because I remember, first it's a feeling more than it is a thought. You feel, it's like your heart is dropped and you confused. That's the problem. You don't even have no thoughts to what it is. It's like you spiraling because you don't want to believe that whatever you thinking is even true. So for me, I tried to like even block them thoughts off. And when you can't really find an answer to or see what you want to do, then what comes is what's deeper down inside of you. And what was deeper down inside me was the fact that at the end of the day, that still ain't gonna be the reason why I ain't gonna be successful in life though. So now it's like, all right, now I gotta recreate myself, And when I had understood that thought of like, I have to recreate myself, then that's when everything kind of changed in the dynamics for me, because now I'm on a sprint to, like, it was like the world opened up to me, because for like 24, 23 years of my life, all I seen was one thing. And I don't even know whatever else the world even had to offer to me. Like, I didn't even know all these things that I was able to learn in these years, but I didn't know like what people would do. All I knew was just basketball. Even though I was in college, I never really, focused on that. So then I just went on a journey of first just understanding the type of life that I wanted to live and, seeing like, how I wanted to be. And when I started to look at that, now I had to like reverse engineer that. And then whatever craft that I wanted to learn about, I had to learn it from somebody who was living in the life that I wanted from it though. Yeah. Like if it was somebody doing real estate and they was not making millions, I didn't want to learn from them because they don't got the recipe to what I want. That's how I kind of was thinking about everything. So then I went on like an expedition for like 2 to 3 years of just going around people in different industries that made the type of lifestyle that I wanted to live, and then I was just reverse engineering the systems and just seeing like, all right, this is what it takes if I wanted to do it in this realm, and I was just doing that until I found something that like resonated like with my heart and with like my natural skills, and then like that's kind of like what led me to like things now.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was the first thing you did to recreate yourself?
Well, so when I went back home to Atlanta, I was at school, and then I went, and I had got like the biggest thing I learned when I was at college was I did do something that is like relevant today, like obviously through NIL and stuff like that. I was good at making relationships. Like I'll go to a restaurant and see that the owner is a fan, and at that time, VCU, all the games are sold out, so it's hard to get tickets. Yeah. And we get obviously 4 every game. So I'll go to a restaurant and then I see that he a fan. I'm like, look, I'll give you a ticket too. And then every time I come in here, just make sure that I don't gotta, pay for nothing. Yeah. And then when I seen that work one time, I went around all of the businesses that I ever seen. And then basically my life was free when I was in college. And I'll take my teammates to places and people would be like, damn. So basically when I went back home to Atlanta, I realized the power of that networking and finding some type of leverage. But at the time when I got to Atlanta, I didn't have that. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me go and I was at this place called the Avalon. It's like a nice little strip area in Alpharetta in Atlanta. And it's just like a place where like it'd be all the foreign cars lined up and all of the outdoor restaurants. And I was out there chilling, and what I was noticing was the valet guys always was conversing with the dudes, the foreign cars, and they was like talking, giving them money, spending. I was like, all right, this is my way in for me to go and actually get to know people without making it weird. Yeah. And me just pulling up on them, and they like, who is this guy? So I was like, all right, let's do it. I went and did valet, and then they put me at like one of the top hotels in Atlanta. And then basically 2 months after that, I had my own auto detailing truck. Like I met this guy. And he had a truck. He was like, yeah, I got an auto detailing truck. It's somehow it came up, but the tire was flat and the alternator was broken. And I was like, and then at the end of it, I said, bro, look, if I fix your alternator and I fix your tire, right now you making 100% of zero. Give me 10%. I said, I'll give you 10%. I'll fix everything, run it until I be able to pay it off, and you give me your number. And then after that, I just went and got like a couple of contracts. I was just hustling it. And that's just what I was doing to make money. So I learned that, damn, I'm kind of good at this, because all my friends and all my peers was like, damn, X, how you switch that fast? Like these was like in the span of months of like, not playing no more to now I'm doing this. And then I started doing like rappers. I started doing like athlete stuff out in Atlanta, and then it just was growing. And then obviously right at that moment where I was about to like really take it off is when kind of Royce told me to come to Miami with him. And then I had made another life, critical decision of like, damn, all right, I did this, I got this fast, but I was like, now what if I was like on that high of like, I did this so fast, what if I can go around them and find an opportunity, like how I just found an opportunity and make it even bigger? Yeah. And then that's kind of like what led me to that. So that was the first thing that kind of made me reinvent myself, was just me taking that opportunity, seeing it actually work, like a vision to reality, seeing it work, and then seeing how good I was at doing that. And then I was like, all right, let's grow this and see how high we could take it or how big we can go.
Yeah. Because you built a business out there pretty big, right?
Well, it was like I told you, I didn't really have enough time to grow it that big. Like soon as it got to that point, I like basically left it into the hands of my friends, and they was not suited to basically do that. So it kind of went down, and I ended up just like selling, but it was not even like, I didn't even sell the business. I just sell like the equipment and like sell there, all the stuff like that. Yeah. And then like, got out of it because at that time I was up here. That's when I first moved, to Utah. So I was like, oh, no, you know what? Forget that. And when I actually came up here, backtrack that. When I came up here for a little bit, one of Ray's closest friends, our closest friends named CJ, he seen what I was doing. Because one thing I did in Atlanta was I had that business right before COVID hit. So I was good at the marketing. So I would partner up with other services and put them under my marketing brand. And then I would go get everybody deals. And day ones, I would get like a little finder's fee. But mine's, I'll actually get the service. But I was like one of the first ones in Atlanta with the sanitization machine. And when COVID hit, and then I was basically spraying down businesses, and then I had brought 2 of them, and then my friend CJ out here in Utah did it. He did like Norton's Gym or something like that. Yeah. He did that facility, and we had a little ticker on it, and I was like, and then like I said, that's what showed me during that time frame. I was like, damn, I got somebody in Utah doing this. I'm in Atlanta. I got these brands that I'm doing. I'm like, man, I'm doing this in months. Like, and I wish I just had the knowledge I knew now. I would have actually like really scaled it, like organized it, packaged it, sold it. But that's just what you learn, and that's basically what started this side of what I'm doing.
So coming back to Utah, so what was it like moving to Utah? Because Utah is not like Atlanta.
Yeah. So it was kind of crazy because I came here from do you remember that time when the season ended early? I mean, ended kind of weird, like in the summertime after like when COVID hit, and they had picked it up, and then they didn't know if they was gonna redo it for the next season, but they ended up hurry up and turning it back around and doing it. Yeah. So during that time, the players was in like I told you, they was in Miami, and they thought they was gonna be there for the whole time frame until back to play, and at that time I was like, it was just perfect timing. Cause I was like transitioning, like moving into a new crib, and then when Ray told me that, I put my date for the new crib to move in when he told me that he was leaving Miami, and I was like, bro, you know what? I'm gonna go to Miami. Like I ain't never get to experience like the NBA. I just got done with college. Like right now I'm trying to figure it out. Like let me just go down here for some time and do that. And when like probably 2 weeks while we was there, they found out that season about to hurry up and come back, so trip got cut short. And at that time, I was like, all right, I'll just go back, to Atlanta, whatever, figure it out. But when they was there, they was like, from seeing little things that I was doing there and like, saving money here or getting us paid to go to like restaurant or whatever the case may be, they was like, come to Utah. And at the time, I was like, bro, I don't got no clothes, bro. It's cold out there. Because it's wintertime. But in Miami, it was like summertime. It's like November, December. And they was like, nah, bro, don't worry about none of that. We'll like get stuff from the facility, all that. I was like, all right, bro, you know what? Let's do it. And on top of that, I never rode a jet in my life. And they was like, I was like, I got no plane. I got plane ticket. And they was like, we're going to take the plane. I was like, all right, I'm sold. And when we got here, I felt like if I got drafted because like we landed here, first thing we do is go to the arena because we had to get COVID tested at that time. Yeah. COVID tested, make sure everything's straight. Then me and Grace actually end up getting COVID. And that's why I actually didn't go back because we had to be quarantined. And then throughout that time of just me and him being in there in that space confined, that's just kind of like when I just realized like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna stay out here because I seen all of like the loopholes of what this market kind of had to offer, and that's the biggest difference between Atlanta and Utah. Is just like Atlanta is already built up mostly at its peak. Like you go to the gas station, you see a celebrity. You go to like everybody's there. It's close confined. Every day is something to do, Sunday through Sunday. It just depends on what you like in life, but you can find it there. In Utah, it's like the infrastructure and the bones were set up there, but all of the individuals quite haven't been able to see that this place exists and it has what it has. So nobody, want to come here. And through us being here and me seeing it and saying like, all right, this is a unique, place, and the entertainment scene is lacking. I kind of seen the biggest opportunity to be able to like take kind of like what I've seen from being in Miami, being in New York, being in Atlanta with all these players, but then kind of like adding its own thing to this place and showing like its uniqueness of like what this place has to offer and mixed in with some entertainment that can come in. And then that's kind of like what we was doing with the players. Like when they came, I started off helping them do like private little parties. And then I grew until when other teams came into town, they would be like, hey, what's the do out here? And they'd be like, man, I can have my guy do you a little private party. And then I turned into rappers, and then next thing you know, that's just what was happening. And so like that's just kind of like what I seen when I came out here and the difference and when one day I evolved into like, us doing.
Yeah, cool. So what was the first, what was your impressions of like the culture out here and the people?
It was kind of, well, mind you, I lived in Wyoming. I lived in New Mexico. I lived in all these like weird places, you know. So for me, and I'll say that like it kind of reminded me a lot of being in Wyoming. Really, just of how can I explain it? Like obviously, I ain't being in a space where there's not a lot of black people, and not necessarily saying that means there's just not a lot of culture. Meaning I'm just opening up to something that like I never seen before. So it was really like I couldn't really have no description of what I was seeing. It was just new, like things that I had never seen before. Yeah. And one thing that I will say is like obviously this is the only place I've ever been where it's religious heavy. You know, like and seeing people that's like either like super Mormon or seeing people that's like transitioning from not being Mormon, and then like just seeing the different lifestyle habits that you know you live within that, and just like how because you lived in that space and because you grew up in that realm, how and one thing about people in Utah is like y'all stay in Utah usually. Like most people never really get out. They just look at me and see the things that we do and it's so intrigued, and I never been around people that's just so intrigued. They're like interested, you know, and like culture and wanting to figure out like kind of like what is life like, you know, in that realm. So it was just like y'all said, it was the same as like, you know, being in different other places, but this place mostly had just more of like a religious like, you know, influence than I've seen in other places, because other places is just so many different religions, but here it's like a city full of everybody who's the same, like, you know? So, like, that was just unique for me, I guess.
No, it's interesting for me because I've lived here my whole life, right? And so, except for, you know, I lived in Scotland for 2 years from a Mormon mission, you know, 20 years ago.
See?
Been forever.
See, you say it in Utah.
It's also very white there, though. But, you know, I've traveled a ton, though. Like, I've been to, I don't know, Texas 100 times, California 100 times. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty well-traveled person, but... And it's funny because I ask people, you know, what do you think about Utah? And it's like, oh, it's real white there, you know, or it's real, you know, it's religious sometimes. Sometimes people don't understand it's religious either. And then it's a really shock when they get here, right? And they're like, oh, everyone kind of does this on Sunday. And I feel like most people, they come to Utah and it's beautiful here, right? You know, we get all 4 seasons. And I think it takes a couple months and I think people end up really liking Utah. Do you kind of get that same thing? Like it kind of grew on you?
Man, see, I'm here. I've been here for 3 years, so I planned on only coming here for a couple weeks and ended up here 3 years. So yeah, like I'll say that's 100% what it got me. It was just like the vibe, the energy. Like it gives you time to think, be clear. Obviously, you're not trying to like impress and keep up with nobody. Like when you live in a major city, you know the dynamics of like what attracts people in major cities is different than the dynamics of what attract people here. You know, because people judge you by what you have in like major cities, and by what you driving and what you know, who you with, where you going, what you wearing, things of that nature. Like you growing up to like, you know, believe in things in that way. And out here, it's like y'all, you know, all have good credit, you know, save money, know what to do, like, you know, build it up, all have offices and businesses, like when you're 20, like have these sales jobs all the way since y'all was younger, like, you know, have saved up this money, like, it's like y'all have the structure and alignment and y'all just was able to follow suit. But in those other places, you know, that's not what it is. It's like get money, blow it on, you know, on being able to be seen. Yeah. So it was 2 different ways. And when I seen that, like, okay, now, in this area, this is the keys to like how you grow and like how you really build. And if I could take these keys and these lessons and over here, and then be able to apply that back to like, you know, where I'm from, then I know that like that could be something powerful. So like that's been my goal, honestly. You know, when I came down here, that's why I've been like eager, like you know, learning and taking everything in, because every time I bring that back, and that's kind of like what made it even big for like the athletes, because most of the athletes is from these places, to be honest, you know, and they just came into a lot of money fast. So when I came out here, that was another thing that I liked out here, is just like y'all own your business, and you know, everybody have different like moral codes and things of that nature, but like for the most part, when it comes down to like being smart and being strategic and coming up with a plan and seeing that plan work, whether it was on the bad end or the good end, that just goes to show you like where your heart at. But it's still crazy to make that go big, you know, like and that's kind of like what I, you know, intrigued me about Utah. So most people get out here, they obviously see like the mountains and, you know, like you said, the 4 seasons and things like that. But past the layer of religion and past the layer of like culture, when you looking at like what is the, you know, people out here do and what they really offer and what you can learn, I'll say like that's the biggest thing that I learned out here, you know, in Utah.
Yeah. And the culture here in Utah too is, we're both kind of in businesses, more you than me, that are trying to kind of build up the nightlife and the exciting parts and the, places to go. And, we have friends in food and beverage and, entertainment all over the place. I mean, when you first came to Utah, do you feel like it was really lacking here? And can you see it kind of on the upswing?
Yeah, like obviously when I first got out here, I remember Ryan Smith had just brought the Jazz, and Royce, like they had like a team meeting. I guess he was introducing himself and like giving the plans and this vision of the future and what he wanted to do. So at that time, Royce got back, and every night we would like just like talk. I'd be doing what I do, he'd do what he do. But that time, we'd come together and just talking. At that time when he was talking, he was basically explaining like that speech, and Ryan Smith was letting him know like All-Star was coming, like 2 years ahead, and basically the things that he wanted them to be proactive in and business opportunities that he wanted them to explore, and his vision to how he wanted to like build the city up and make it an attractable place, for individuals to kind of come here and want to stay here as a free agent. And then like at that time I never was exploring in Utah to really know that like all those things was kind of lacking. So while he was there talking, I was there building in my mind. Like I was like, all right, I'm in a race to beat him to that. Like I want to, like whatever he's saying that's what you want to do in this city. Like let me get in here. Like let's get to it. Like let's go ahead and start building the vibes, career, and the experiences. Building relationships. Like obtaining the assets or whatever need to be done to be able to really show and make this place attractable. And through doing those parties and through creating those experiences and like making the right partnerships with the people who have the assets, like Mike and all those guys, it basically allowed. And then by having those people that I was desiring, the athletes and the entertainers coming here and going through it and then saying like, damn, I had a great time, the best time I ever had in Utah. Or when I come back, like I didn't know this place was this lit. Yeah, it kind of gave me that thrill to like, all right, let's grow it more. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So when the guys come in, when the NBA guys come in, where do they like to hang out? What do they like to do?
Yeah. So obviously they I was gonna say like most teams obviously go to the same hotel, but they all come in, and it's not really where they go, it's what they want to do, and then we kind of like curate that vibe. So what they want to do is just they want to eat, they want to have potentially hookah or alcohol, whatever they forte is. And then they just want to be around good, beautiful girls, and they want to just have low key vibes, not too many like fan things going on. So exclusivity, great people, vibes, and necessities. So whatever they request, and they want to do that at a place that's good and scenic. So most of the time, like I said, I use Michael McHenry assets through the partnership that we build. And then if it's not that, then it's something that he'll provide that will be something that's cool, that, suits their needs. But it's more so that's kind of like what they're doing, because you got to think they're not really in town for long. It's something quick. They're not really trying to do too much, because 9 times out of 10 they got to play that next day, right, or they're going back out of town that next day. Yeah. So it's not that they're trying to go too crazy or do nothing wild, but they just want to get out, like explore that city and just see what that city essentially has to offer, and making sure that they have like their necessities, Yeah.
Do they all normally kind of go together? Like if the players are going to go out, do they kind of stick together?
Yeah. Most of the time they all stick together. Like obviously they're grown men, and sometimes it's either they stay in or they either go together. I mean, you obviously have your your rare dudes that may be older, because the age difference. Yeah. On teams you might have these younger dudes who want to go out more, but the vets who got families and stuff like that now, they be go get some dinner and they call it a day. Yeah. So that just depends, but for the most part, they stick as a team to make sure that everybody, is good and doing what they're supposed to do.
When they come to Utah, what's something they feel is missing?
I'll say that, obviously just like cultural variety of just, different races and people. Like it's really people oriented. When it comes down to the places, they haven't really had enough time to see the different places. But, and then the places that they go to, I kind of spice it up to where they think that that's just what it is, but they don't know that that's not what it looks like every day. Yeah. And then I'll say that the biggest thing is the people that actually live here, like the Utah like Jazz players that actually have to experience Utah day in, day out. It lacks like shopping, like going to go get clothes. There's no places out here for you to be able to go and like, you know, get the clothes that you'll be able to go find in like, you know, other markets and things of that nature. It lacks like, you know, certain food places, like, you know, obviously you have this variety now, but it's just like in different markets you able to go and damn near get whatever you want, you know, whatever you feeling, you could go find that place. But obviously that's growing in this space, but it lacks, you know, cultural variety when it comes down to food. No, clothes, food, entertainment. Like, obviously, this market not really big on that. It's a growing place. So, most of the times, like, if it's anything going on, it's the same club. So, it's not like a variety of different places to, like, go. Or, you know, most of the bigger acts sometimes don't sell the tickets they need, so they'll cancel their show. So, you know, it's the bigger people that you want to see not really coming through here. You know, so it's just, like, little things like that. Like, you know, having accessibility to those things, but sometimes that works in their favor because they save money, you know, like they get into a habit or routine, and it promotes better habits. But when they go to bigger markets, when they leave here, like in the off season, they let it all out because that's kind of like what they miss, you know, when they go to them places compared to like being here.
Yeah. Do you ever take them up to Park City while they're here?
Yeah. We've been to Park City. We've been to Park City a couple of times.
Do they like it up there?
It used to be this tent at Pendry that goes on in the wintertime. It was pretty fun, but yeah, they like it. Obviously, it's still the same, you know, because it's just they like it for what they like Utah for. Yeah. Mountains, peace. It's just, you know, better vibes, better scene, but still don't. If anything, it's even worse when it comes to entertainment, or worse when it comes to finding clothes and fashion. It is a good place. Like when they go up there to relax and like be low key and not, you know, be bothered and things of that nature. So we went up to the spa up there a couple of times. You know. Yeah.
Do people in Utah fan them out a lot? Like come up and want to get pictures and all that stuff?
I'll say yeah. Well, I'll say yeah.
Like more than other cities, I guess is what I'm asking.
The good thing about it is, they move so low key. Like they move like Batman in his city. Like, you know, like to where they avoid all that stuff. Kind of like if we go to a place, they send somebody into the store. You know, like so. But I remember one time with Donovan, we went to like a school, and it was crazy. Like we couldn't even get out of there. Or one time we went to a mall and it got crazy real fast. Like so, I've seen it sometimes. Like, you know, speed up or but like, you know, for the most part, they chill. But if it's like anything around the arena or anything in like big groups or big crowds, then that's when they get hectic. But like if you know we going to a certain place, for the most part, people just come up quickly and say, "Hey man, appreciate you. You know, love your game," or something like that. You know, something like that. Yeah. Quick.
Yeah, I bet most of the time they kind of like that too, right? Just like being acknowledged a tad, you know, in a different city.
Oh yeah. They definitely feel that. Now and also y'all ride for y'all people, you know. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, if it's if it's somebody that's like a good player on another team, you know, y'all, like I seen that type of stuff happen, like, you know, with Zion or, you know, somebody that's like big, you know, but like for the most part, anybody that's not really a superstar, y'all really don't know them because y'all just really ride for y'all Utah people. Yeah. And then other people's stars, you know, so like most people get unnoticed.
Yeah, that's probably true. I can see that. So, and then one of the reasons why you know all this, I didn't even mention, is like, you know, you're kind of a concierge for all these guys, right?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like how it all started. That's how I started to build like all the relationships. It started just being that kind of like, X, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? But like for me, I understood the value of that because what it was doing was like giving me opportunity to open up doors to relationships building with other individuals, and then we kind of built out something like a system to like be able to just provide people whatever they need based off of like already doing it repetitively over and over again for the athletes. So yeah, that's something that like we do, but for athletes.
Yeah, that's fun. So where's your favorite go-to place here in Utah? If you want to go out with your friends.
Cliff Spa.
Oh really?
Yeah, I like going up there to the Cliff Spa, to that little pool, hot tub.
Yeah.
Thing on top of the mountain.
Yeah, the one up in Snowbird, right?
Yeah, I love that right there. Like, I go up there and I just kick out. Like, you got the restaurants there. You could just chill up there, go get a massage, go out to the like hot tub, yoga. Like, I don't know. Like, I imagine like my house having like something like that going on. Yeah. But like, yeah, so like that's my favorite place to go to. Like something chill like that.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Now you've also gotten into, you got into a lot of different business deals. Recently you got into a barbecue joint.
Yeah.
Right? A barbecue joint in Tooele, Utah. Yeah. You gotta tell us all about that.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Les, we throughout All-Star, it was we met through our All-Star. We was throwing a party. We threw like crazy big party for All-Star, and at the time, he was working like security, and he was working for security for Michael, and me and Michael was throwing a party, but I didn't even know that he was working security. I just thought that he was just somebody that was at the party, and he came to me and showed me that he had the barbecue restaurant, and at that time, we didn't really have nothing, to that life goes on. So time, spent with being around Michael, and remember, like I told you, like I was learning from all different crafts, and when me and Mike got together and created a partnership to create these experiences and do what we do, and I was just spending a lot of time around him, I started to see that like I can be good in this space right here. I remember Jordan one time Jordan and Royce asked me to help create a restaurant for them during that time, and when I first got here, I was with all the different restaurants coming, and then when I realized and seeing that this is kind of something that was in my space and in my alignment of what I was doing, and I always around it in some form or fashion. And each year I was growing up in a different space inside of it. I got to a point where I was telling Brett, I was like, bro, you know what? I'm about to do a restaurant. It's lacking a cultural spot out here in Utah. When most people come out here, they always look for that. But it's obviously some good spots that Michael have. And one thing Michael do a good job is catering to the audience. So if these people will come in town, even if it's not on the menu, he would accommodate these guys and give them what they want. But when I came to that time and I made that decision, I came to Mike and I was like, yo, Mike, look, I'm about to create this concept, or I'm about to get into this space. And at the time, it was this dude named Lolo's Chicken and Waffles. I met him in Vegas when we was out there with Neo, and I was letting him know everything I'm telling you right now. Bro, this is what I've done up until this moment. Because Neo had introduced me as basically the owner of Sunday's Best, but I was like, no, I'm not the owner. Michael's the owner, but I'm basically partnered up with him, and I do things help him bring people like you and grow the brand. And through that, I was like, man, I'm getting introduced to people and all that just from being in that position. So if I did put myself in this position, it can go there. And I was letting him know that, and he respected how honest I was and transparent I was. He was like, you could have ran with that and said whatever and acted like flex, but because you was honest and you really want to do this, then he was like, let's talk about me potentially bringing one of these out there. So I talked to Mike about that, and then he was like, yeah, that would be good to start being able to build up. And then right when I said that, and I thought that was the plan that I was gonna do, I was driving home, and in my Instagram, Les DM me, and he was like, man, I remember you from All-Star. I want to talk to you. I want to know what you do, what you did for Mike and things like that. And then once he realized the connecting pieces of everything that was going on, he told me to go to his house. And when I went out there, I went and I seen the grill. I went in this kitchen. I seen the machines. I seen the sanitization area. I seen the packaging systems. I seen the deep freezers. I'm like, bro, his house is a barbecue factory. You know what I'm saying? He literally, and he had that house and he had another house where his family was in, and they was transitioning. And then and then he was like, man, he was just speaking so much passion. He was like, man, listen, this is how much I made. I was like, wow, out of your backyard. He's like, bro, this is how I do it. This is my system. I get to meet here. He was going through the whole process. He was showing me it. And then at this moment, I was like, here it is. This is the opportunity right here. He was like, I want you to help me grow this, do this. This could be our thing. And then at that moment, we just got together, and then we just started locking in and and building and building and building and building. And then and now it's just been taking off, obviously the brand is growing and the opportunities is coming in daily, just as much as the brand is growing. And now we're going to go on tour real soon, and get out, because our major markets of where we most popular at is the major cities in the United States. So we want to go see really how big we are and how much love we really can go do. But it was something that I asked for, and then God manifested it in this way, and it came.
Yeah, and the business model on this is crazy. It's actually delivered barbecue, right? So there's actually no restaurant. Les does it all of his house currently, right?
Yeah, all of it out of his house, all out of his house. We kind of had a ghost kitchen situation set up with Rob. Appreciate him definitely for allowing us to do that. It was just crazy because right when we got in there, we had all these events lined up, and it was just getting hectic, driving from Tooele to there. And then we just got so busy that like most of the things, and then we would just realize like it's delivered meat straight to your house. So you freeze it, and then we basically next day ship it. So throughout that process of doing all that, and he was just so comfortable with the system that he built essentially out of the house. But we're definitely growing it. We're definitely going to grow it. But for right now, it's just working. You know, like we got crazy profit margins. So what we're doing, we at a level right now where it's manageable, even though that we still growing it, and we know that when we get back from tour that it's gonna have to like, you know, take its next swing. But people love the originality of him being at that home and like, you know, seeing that, and that's kind of like what we've been like, you know, keeping in it. So yeah, it's definitely a unique business model, something that you know was on accident. Like if Les, you know, tell you it was 100% on accident. He didn't expect it to like blow up. I was not with him during that time, like when it actually like took that blow up swing. But I was with him at the time where he needed to grow because he couldn't do everything by himself. And then, you know, me coming in and bringing the right team, and now we able to grow way more comfortable and faster, you know. So that's kind of like, you know, what he was able to do. And then as I got around more experts, because like I said, that's the biggest thing I do is like get around other individuals. And when they see like, you know, what he's doing and like how he's doing it, they all intrigued and, you know, see like the potential of him to be able to take it to the next level. So it's exciting to see like experts, you know, see a passion and see something new, and then now we want to grow it.
Yeah. So what's the website to go buy his stuff?
lesbbq.com.
Yeah, it's perfect. So does he do sides and everything, or is it just meat?
Well, it's meat by the pound online. You know, now obviously every Saturday we'll do a pop-up somewhere, you know, just for like locally for people to be able to test it that don't know. And we'll do like size like that. And when we go on tour, we'll have size, but it's just strictly meat, you know, like you get it 3 pound minimum, whether you could get oxtails or baby back rib or spare rib or one of those. And then and then sometimes he'll special request you like if you want like a brisket or something like that, or you know, if you talk to him on the side. But yeah, like frozen meat, next day ship, and then he give you preheating instructions for you to be able to go put it in your oven, reheat it up, and then give you your own opportunity to like cook it with however you like.
Yeah. And kind of to put this in scale, I mean, you guys are buying out meat stores, right? I mean, this thing is blowing up. Yeah,
Sam's know us like nothing. As soon as we walk in there, they be like, hey, go to the back. Y'all oxtails is in there, like y'all have some more in like a day or two. But like, yeah, we really made the oxtail famous. Like most people didn't even know what an oxtail was. Like they actually thought it came from an ox, but it's really like a cow tail. Yeah. And you know, like we really was able to like take that item and especially in our culture, that's why I say in the most major markets where our culture is heavily at is where we the most biggest at, because most people haven't really seen individuals smoke the oxtail. So let's innovated the game, you know, when he did that right there. And like every day he's growing in stardom for smoking an oxtail. And he'll tell you, you know, he was like, man, I was smoking. And he was like, every day he would go in there, he would see those oxtails, and he was thinking to himself, like, man, I could do that. And then when he did it, like overnight, literally, like that video went millions. And then like we went from seeing nothing to just like imagine like seeing nothing to like over 1,000 orders. And then it was just like a race of just taking that challenge on, having to execute that and, you know, going through that. But yeah, literally that's kind of how I started, just oxtails.
Oh, that's amazing. So do you, obviously you eat it and you love it.
Oh yeah. I love it for sure. And everybody that we, you know, if you go to the Instagram LES barbecue sandwiches, you'll see like we do these taste tests and like we have people do it because, you know, you don't want to oversell. I don't like to oversell. I like the people to sell it for me. Yeah. So we try to give it to as many different people, kids, older people, no matter whatever race it is, and let them taste like what it's like. And it's just been crazy reviews, and like, you know, other people like it too as well. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's dope. Now your business partner is Brett Horrocks.
Yeah.
Right. How did you meet Brett?
Yeah, so I was actually at Snowbird at the Cliff Spa, and I was up there just like chilling, like vibing, and one of the mutual friends that we knew, he was like, dude, I got this meeting with this guy that I think you need to meet, because at that time, like I was telling people that I was, you know, like I want to help athletes, I want to do this, and that dude who was meeting them was meeting with Brett about him, like, you know, helping and connect with athletes and stuff like that. So I was up there at the spa, and then I get the call, and then I was up there already for about 2 or 3 hours just chilling. I ain't had no desire to go anywhere, but when he said that, I was there. I was like visualizing like my life, my future, and I was like, I need to like build more individuals. And then right when I said that, he called me and said, meet this dude. And I was like, man, I'm already comfortable here, but damn, my damn dude just asked the universe for this. So like, let me see what's going on. And then I actually just like left there, went there to that meeting, and then when I got there, I was like, wow, like at the time of my life of like where I was going, where I was needing to like, help these athletes grow, and me seeing like the vision that he had and like what he was already building and what he was wanting to do, and the alignment that was there, it was crazy. And that's kind of like what was the journey. Like we just started to like grow from there. And then it was like a seamless flow of understanding like we two different individuals, but like it's like yin yang. Like we two different individuals and we go about things in different ways and we have different strengths that we operate at. But the things that I don't have or the things I don't like and the things that I don't need is the things that he like and vice versa, So that made sense, That made sense. I felt like complete in that aspect. And that's kind of like how we met through that mutual friend. And then from going there and then like from just growing our relationship and throughout the people that I was with, throughout the people that he was with, all that faded, and then it kind of like left us two remaining. And then like once we actually got to alignment, that's when our things started to blow up. So like that's kind of like how me and Brett met and how we grow.
So what are some of the deals that you guys do together?
Yeah, so like obviously like the last thing. So it all started like obviously through Coin League, which is a project that we currently still working on, and that kind of like is the thing that molds in the athletes with the brands. And the biggest thing about that, obviously the technology act as what we are right now today, but it's just us building relationships and helping athletes build the right relationship with whoever they want to be, especially in the business space. So we've been able to introduce Jordan Clarkson to like Gab Wireless and even Michael, like all these different type of individuals that when it comes down to brand spaces, we've been able to like individually like build companies and like have like refresh the sports drink, but like get like some of the top like up and coming high school athletes. That was our target demographic market, but like future draft picks that's on the draft boards now, or big time college athletes. And we've been able to like obviously mostly it came inside of that restaurant space of like the entertainment side of like the things that we was doing, and doing like these private deals or helping athletes connect with the right individuals to like get with restaurants to grow different brand deals, things of that nature. And then it's all growing into like us being able to come together and out of building the relationships throughout all these different industries and having the athletes go to us to be the connecting piece for their situations. Now we're going to like evolve that into being into something more where we can go along and be business partners with them and then help them really walk them step by step and grow into whatever their future desires may be if they want to do, So like that's kind of like, what we've been doing up until this point. It's been a lot of like case studies, like one, like do this, see it work, sit back, see what we could do, because obviously we was wanting to build a technology around all these solutions. But now, like it's evolving to something more organized and more firm and more direct. And yeah,
that's cool. So as you and Brett work together, what's kind of the magic sauce? Why are you guys making such good business partners?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like one, like I said, the yin yang part is like you have Brett, who is every business is two facets. You have to have somebody who's out there driving it and like building it and growing it and building the right relationships and putting it in the door. But then you also have to have that back part that makes sure that you organize, you structure, that you have all your things like cross and that you prepare to actually receive and take business. It's not like when you're doing it this side and you don't have this side, then it's a hustle. And then when you have this side and you don't got no money coming in, it's not a business.
Right.
So from that's kind of like the thing that makes us complete. Like, Brett, obviously, as he was growing up, and he grew up with the background of being around elite level business individuals, and they put him in positions for him to have learned all those things. And me, I just knew how to like network and like get myself in the right doors and like close deals and like basically hustle the money. So when I got with him, he provided like that structure and that infrastructure to being able to make sure that we have everything. Like if I'm out here, I can pull up anything that anybody may ask me, performance decks, like, whatever you need, like it's there. And, he don't have to worry about, having to go get opportunities. Every day he look back up, damn, X, who's this person we got? Who's this person we got? Or who is this phone we about to go talk to? Or who is this new athlete that we about to go get? So things like that is kind of like what makes us go. And then obviously to make it even more deeper, being young, hungry, and then having to build the right relationships of mentors and people that's like smarter than us and have more experience than us. We did a great job of doing that too as well. So being able to learn from the best whatever space that we was being around. Brett being around Jimmy a lot, and then like me being around like Michael a lot, and then obviously like being around like other ancillary individuals that's outside of this market. Yeah. But like just being able to see high level things and be young at that early. I never really met nobody that was just like that with me. Same age, like just that complete. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's just like made sense at that time. Yeah. And then and that's kind of like what makes us like go for it. Like people see like the hunger in us and like the drive, but they also see that like we also automatically come in already with a specific value that we could bring to the table, and that's what me and Brett's goal was, just line ourselves with great people, and just know that like over time if we do that we'll be right where we want to be at, you know?
No, I can see the magic in you guys. I mean, you're like ultimate networkers, right? But you're also guys that are just being honest and being good friends with people, and then when your network starts yielding you opportunities, you're just taking them.
Exactly.
Right.
And then making sure that we dominate, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's basically what it comes down to. Like so yep, that's 100% like our mentality.
Yeah. See, and I love it too. You guys are just, let's go do this. If you listen to some of my other podcasts, I joke around about people who are always preparing to prepare, right? And it's like that's not where people get stuff done. You just go do it. Go do a deal with the barbecue company. Go do a deal with a brand manager. Like get guys involved, ask questions, don't be shy, right? Like all that stuff is really what you and Brett are like, just like experts at.
I tell people like sometimes take the simple quote serious, and what I mean by that is like when you just say like just do it. Like when Nike said that, like literally like that's what life is. Like simple quotes have big meanings. Like, and I always understood the meaning of like simplicity. So like literally, what like when I make a decision, what am I missing out on? Yeah. Like it's better that I just do it now. Yeah. I'm young. I'm able to like whatever. I don't even care about whatever age. Like if you alive and like God gave you another day, it's like if you got an opportunity, like the worst thing that can happen is just not gonna work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you just know that didn't work. Yeah. So but for us, obviously, it's just grateful that the great opportunities have came in life to be able to be like, all right, let's go figure this out. And it's all been manifested too as well. So like it's easy to say yes to things that you already seen in your mind, and when they come in your face, like this is what I asked for, Yeah. So like that's kind of like what it's been, just like manifesting, visualizing what we want to do, opportunity to come, let's go.
Yeah. So in the future, near future, what are you most excited about?
Like obviously I'm not to be cliche, but just more growth. Like right now, I feel like me and Brett is on a trajectory of just like abundance. And I say that only just because like we're aligning ourselves with the right individuals and bringing our expertise to opportunities that, like for instance, like let's just say, let's speak about something that we potentially about to do, the fun, right? Yeah. Knowing that like the opportunity to be able to know everything that you did in your past, the successes you have, what your future look like in that space of already have done that, but then able to come in and bring in us being able to bring that to the younger group of individuals that's want to come up and be able to do that. That's exciting because I know that like I'm about to grow a whole new like generation and teach them something that we ain't never known. And I'm confident because I know that I have the expertise of somebody who already did it. And then I already have the community that I'm able to like give it to. Yeah. The growth of like Let's Barbecue, knowing that right now we having all these meetings. We've been able to have good advice from Wags and Michael McCarry, and next week we have a meeting with Xavier, like, and being able to see like what advice they're gonna give and going on tour. So like that's more growth, if that makes sense. So like in everything that I'm doing in life, it's like a growth opportunity and trajectory that's going on, and I just want to see like, how far or how big like we can really take these things that's like going on. With Michael, we have the entertainment, community that we've been building, and he have his restaurants that's coming and that kind of fuel the entertainment aspect to like what he's doing in that area. So to see that he's got that new place opening up and more entertainers and people will be going there is just more growth. So like everything that I'm, touching right now, it's like at a growing, opportunity and breaking through, and that's the most exciting thing that I see in my future is that, I feel confident that these things gonna take me to a place I never thought.
Yeah. Plus, it's fun experiencing it, right? I mean, you're out there doing these fun deals and meeting fun people, and making money along the way, and like it's a good life to live.
Exactly. So, yeah. So
now you're recently a father.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How old's your little boy?
About like a month and a half right now.
Nice.
Like 45 to 60 days.
How do you like it?
Man, it's everybody always said like get a kid and get to experience these like type of love that you never seen before and stuff like that. But for me, I've never really opened myself up in that space because I've always been like closed off like business and go and grind and move to another city and place and so I never really I always made myself believe that like I'm so focused I don't got time for that love or whatever. But like when I had my kid, it was like I was really lying to them. I just never really trusted nobody enough for me to like pour in that amount of love too. Yeah. And that's kind of like what I see with my kid, like instant trust, what I'm saying? Instant love, like it just was like overwhelming. Like it was like I had backed up love for him, like that I never really was able to like essentially do. Yeah. And now like it's just life that didn't ask to be here that I brought into his life, and I feel responsible to like help grow it. So I'm passionate about growing that too. Like just like I was telling you with growth, like with my kid is even more like every day, every step, just enjoying it, like and like not trying to rush it. And just like, taking it as it come. And that's the biggest thing and the best thing. And it humbles and it gave me a sense of purpose now, because prior to my kid, I was just like living off my passion. But now that I have my kid, I'm living off my purpose, Yeah. And that's kind of like that I never seen life in that way too, like of living off purpose more so than passion. Yeah. So like now everything that I do, it's like it's planned out for something that I know that's coming up. And then like my job for him is just to like help him grow into like the best person that he can be, and I feel like that's my new job now.
Yeah, it's wild when you get a kid, right? You start feeling this like overwhelming sense of responsibility, I see a lot of motivational videos too, where it's like, how are you going to tell your kid not to quit if you did?
Exactly.
And it's dads doing stuff with their kids, and I'm like, oh, dude, how freaking true is that? Like I'm just never going to quit.
Exactly. That's hard. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, I love it, man. So, what else is going on out there? How are you going to grow all this? Like when you sit down and you think, okay, I've got these good partnerships, I've made this network. Like, how am I really going to take this to the next level?
Yeah. So like, I remember early in this conversation, we was talking about roles, and the thing that I didn't learn from my first greatest failure, which is basketball, that I'll say. And the thing is playing my role, like in everything that you do, it's the right individuals that you got to have, and you got to align together for that thing to go to where it need to be at. And in everything that you do, it's a team. It's associated with that success. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to perfect my role and continue to build my craft and like what I bring to the table, and becoming smarter and aligning with the right networks, and bringing the right strategy to these situations and the right partnerships to the situation. And then I'm going to continue to find the best people to do the things that I'm not good at, and then bring their expertise into the situations for it to grow. Yeah. So I'm going to align all my opportunities with the right team that's going to make it, be successful. And that's how it's going to get to where we need to go.
Yeah. No, that's a super important principle. Like we were just talking yesterday, there's a company that a few guys have left, and they're coming to form something I'm helping them put together, right? And the company that they left was a very successful YouTube channel, very successful. And one of the problems is the guy that owns it shouldn't be the CEO, right? It's just not his personality. He really needs to stick what he's really, really good at. And you see that with a bunch of businesses, right? You have a guy who's a really good salesman, so then he like breaks off and starts his own thing, and then he's horrible at accounting or he's horrible at project management, and then it just doesn't really work, right? Now, a lot of the time, those founders, and they deserve all the credit in the world for growing things and building things, but at some level, you got to put those players in that play those roles, maybe a CEO or maybe a COO, somebody who just handles the operations, or somebody who handles the accounting, And I think it's really smart, at your age, right, to really realize that, right? It's like, I got to put a team together. The team is way more important than, me owning 15% more or something, right?
100%. Like, yeah. Like I said, like I told you when I first got that truck, I told that dude, that was my pitch. You want to own 100% of nothing, or you want 10% of what I'm going to be able to bring in. Yeah. Like, that's better than what you're doing right now. So that was like the foundation of where I started my, journey on in this space. And like, that's kind of like what I live by. Like, I want to have the most success. That's why the role I play is not is not the main role. Yeah. Like, I'm a piece to the main role to help them get what they need for them to be successful. So as they grow, I grow. And the more people that I can affect and touch and grow in that space, in that realm, is how I get to like my space. So for me, it's all about that. Like, finding the right individuals, because I'm not, playing at main piece and like, you know, trying to be the face and like, hey, me guy. And the people who is the face is so humble. Like, for instance, like Les and Mike, like these guys don't care if I'm on their platforms or if I'm in their space, and they don't really have that personality to be like, I want to be me. But I'm mostly encouraging them to go take them steps, grow that, like be that, like, you know, get to that space, and I'm going to back you with whatever you need, you know, and resources and people to get you to that next level for this to grow. Yeah. So like, that's kind of like the biggest thing. Like, I just know that like I want to win, you know, I'm not trying to, and that's kind of like what I didn't have, you know, when I was playing ball, and that's why I wasn't successful. And I told myself that I would not take them habits for my next things in life. So now that's why I see my life doing what it's doing now, because I'm coming at it like how I seen Royce came at what he came at. Like I'm in the NBA. That's the goal. The goal is to be, you know, at the highest level doing, you know, what you want to do. And if this my role brings me the same lifestyle as a person that's got the highest role, and my family's taken care of just as much as his, I'm not worrying about like how much more, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just happy with the fact that I'm winning, you know? So like that's basically where I took that sports mentality and applied it into this mentality, and then is give you more than what you asked for.
Yeah. And I love that you bring that up too, sports, right? Like, dude, grinding and freaking practicing and shooting like that, dude, it really is a representation in like business life, right? Even to the fact that it's like when you're playing ball, you got 4 other teammates, right? And you need them, you know, you need them to set picks, to take shots, to, you know, get open, to flow without the ball. You know, there's so many things that you need those other players to do that you can't do all by yourself. And it's just like in business, you find those right players, you know, that are really good at this, bringing sales, good with customers, good with numbers, you know, good at forecasting the future. And yeah, I think growing up with, you know, being very, very disciplined inside basketball is probably it's going to pay you massive dividends throughout your entire business career.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, that's what I'm hoping. It's been getting me in places that I never thought I'd be in, doing things that I'm, you know, doing that I never thought I'd be doing. Like I told you, I didn't even know what was outside of basketball for like, you know, majority of my life. Only 3 years removed from playing the sport, and this is everything I did in the past 3 years, you know? Yeah. Like all off of using the principles of what I learned, you know, in that space. So being able to understand like your gifts and like what translate into the world, and like how you able to consistently affect, you know, each individual that you able to touch, the more you in tune with that aspect of yourself, the more that your life will open up, because now you, like I say, you know, your light, your purpose of what you do. So once you find that, like that's what I was able to just be able to find, like my age. You know, some people never find that, you know? So once you find that, then you able to grow that, and then like, you know, now I just know what I'm dedicating my life to more so in that space. I can't tell you like where I'm gonna do or like how it's gonna, you know, play out and things like that, because, you know, like I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing now. Like, would you say that, you know, you'd be doing the things that you was doing now when you was younger? No, you know, like, and see, most people that I talk to always say that same thing too. They're like, man, I didn't even think I would get into this, or I would be doing that, you know? So when I seen that happens, I was like, well, what is the thing that's constant? Well, the thing that was constant was the mindset, the belief, the, you know, like the type of person that they built themselves to be. Yeah. So I feel like that should be like my ultimate goal, because that's what I know I can control. Yeah. You know, I can't control like what that person gonna do, or something might happen in his life and might change. I can't control those things, but like what I am and like what I'm bringing to the table and what I'm growing myself to be until like God take me to the next phase of life is like what I feel like, you know, give me everything that I want in this lifetime, you know? Not just like the success, but like the peace too, you know, like in the, like, you know, like the like, I noticed one thing I'm going to make sure I do as my kid continue to grow up is be there actively, you know, like, you know, on pursuit, like of what I'm doing. Like, it don't even matter. Like, you know, some people say I check this and that, but I'm going to make sure that, like, you know, I make that priority just as much as I make this priority, even if I have to just sacrifice some of the things that I do as pleasure, you know? But, like, I just know, like, to do what is right, and, like, I feel like that just have me have a life where I'm not, like, looking back and, like, regretting on nothing, you know? Like, saying, like, I wish I would spend more time with my kid, or I wish I would have grinded more. Like, nah, I don't want to live with no regrets.
Yeah, no, that's a great plan. So, my friend, we're at the end of the podcast, dude.
Yeah, good.
I need your best 2 minutes of advice.
Man, best 2 minutes of advice. I'll say, I guess, you know, run your own race. Never really look to what other individuals are doing. You know, make your life essentially about being a better version of yourself day in, day out. And if you wake up every day knowing that like your only goal is just to be better than where you was the day before, then you will live a life, reaching your max potential of where you should be at and where you should go. And focus on that, because then that's how God aligned with you for what you was here to do. So that's the biggest advice that I'll tell somebody. And slow progress is better than no progress. So never really compare and contrast to how fast you're growing, because you're growing at the pace that you need to grow to do what you need to do. So that'd be the biggest advice I'd tell anybody. Just, run your own race.
Yeah. No, I love that, dude. And guys, listen, there's big things coming up for X here. Dude, big things. So if they want to follow you on Instagram, what's your handle?
XO Abundance.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, XO Abundance.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff cooking, man. We got good things to do.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we're gonna go big.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So cool, dude. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Man, I appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to the President McCormack Podcast, brought to you by McCormack Foundation, Saxton Fund, ADP Lemco, and Professional Floor Systems. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and keep up with Mark on Instagram @President McCormack.